Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Eddie at Eddie Makes Art, and I'm glad you joined me today because we are going to do some more gel printing. I'm using my 5x7 Jelly Arts plate, and I have also some black mixed media paper I'm going to use as my pickup paper. I've got some carnival tissue we'll use. I've got some imperfectly perfect stencils that we're going to use, and the reason we're using those is because the lovely folks over at PM Artist Studio were kind enough to send me some of their rejected products, stencils. And the reason they were rejected is because they weren't cut right or something just didn't work out right. So they call them IMPPs, imperfectly perfect stencils. And I'm going to show you on this particular one. This is an aqueous stencil, right? But you see how that didn't cut properly. There should be space in here, and this should have been, probably cut out. So what they do is they set them aside, and they don't send them out. You will never get a stencil like this when you purchase it from their website. Every stencil is cut to order. So their standard of quality is very high. So you won't get anything like this when you order from their website, which is pmartiststudio.com. And it's a small company out of Texas run by a family. And this is Mariah and this is Patricia. And they do live streams every week, 3 times a week. And at Sundays at 10 a.m., Tuesdays and Thursdays at 3, and that's Central Time. And they're, it's live, it's fun, it's very interactive. You learn so much stuff. So I would definitely check that out. So what I'm going to do, what I wanted to do today, is work with some of the color shift paints by Folk Art. I hope you can see that. There we go. And then, so I want to use the stencils to create a background for my butterfly. And if you notice the imperfection here, as you see that wing didn't cut properly. And I'm sure there's something else wrong, but since I'm not an expert, I do not know. But we're going to have some fun and play with it. And thank you again, Mariah, for giving me some cool tools to play with. And so first question is, do we lay the stencil down first, put the paint over it, which means, and then lift the stencil, which means we're left behind with what is, this print, the circles showing, okay, the bubbles. Or do we put the paint underneath, take the excess off with the tissue, and then what we're left behind with is the outline of that. And then we have the black paper behind it. So it would look, kind of like that. And then the outline of the paint or the stencil, right? Or do we want the larger, circles showing? I guess that would be the negative. I'm not sure. Mariah, I'm sure, will correct me because she knows all about this. And then I would put the stencil over that in a different color. So, you know what? Let's just get into it. Whatever happens, happens. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to wipe this down a little bit. It's got a couple little dusty things on there. This is just a wet cloth I use for when I do art to clean up. And it just has some water on it. Nothing fancy here today. I hope everyone's doing well. I'm great. Oh, come on. See, I'm not used to this. My hair has never been as long as I have it now, and it's long. So I'm not used to like hair everywhere because it was always like my hair was always very short. And so when I see a long hair, I'm like, wait. And then, oh, it's yours. I am a silly goose. So first of all, what paint do we want the background to be? And the reason I pulled these two out is because I kind of want to do like a, not sort of like oceany colors, like jewel tones maybe, but like more greens, blues, that sort of thing. So here I have from the Folk Art Color Shift collection, the blah, 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 Blue Flash, 5131CA Blue Flash. And what that does is it shifts to purple. So when the light hits the paper at different angles, you can see it'll change to purple. And then this one is the Aqua Flash 5130CA. I hope you can see that. I'm like not good at this, but I'll list the descriptions in the I'll list the supplies I used today in the description box below. While you're there, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Leave a comment, please. All those things help me to make more videos for you guys. I want to do that. I want to do a lot more. So don't forget, just hit that like button. Okay, this turquoise paint shifts to blue. So we have a blue that shifts to purple and Aqua Flash that shifts to blue. So, you know, I think this will be fun together. We'll start with that. And let's get a background done, background down. So, and then it's going to have to dry. So I will stop the video, let it dry, and then we'll come back and keep going. Let's use a combination of these. And I'm going to put it over the stencil because I want the larger circles, I've decided. Now, this is an imperfect stencil too because it should, I don't know the exact measurements, but it should probably be a little bigger. But so on this plate, there's going to be space there and there. I don't mind that. I'm not worried about that. Okay, got this the right way I want it, or do I want it this way? We're going to go this way. And the paint, like I said, is going to go on the top of the stencil. So you need enough paint to get in here, but you don't want so much that, you know, it's just going to look all yucky mucky. So we'll go here with a little bit of blue. Remember, you can add more. You can't take away as much, but you can add more. Come on. Here we go. All right. I'm going to make sure I get into all these beautiful little openings. And this is not a very thick paint, and that's okay. And that's why I'm using it with the black paper, black mixed media paper, because it's going to show up really, really well on that black. Okay. So I'm going to take that off, and we can see, look at that. We've got a beautiful background for our butterfly. I'm just going to put the black paper underneath. You can see it's going to really pop out. Now I'm going to let this dry, and then I'm going to pause the camera, and I'll come back and we'll finish it up. Okay, everybody, this is now dry, and I'm thinking while it was drying, I was thinking what color, well, what technique I want to use to get the butterfly over this. And because I'm still new to gel printing, so I'm no expert. So we're working this through together. So my first thought was, if I do a paint underneath like usual and then lift it, I'm gonna cover all of this up. However, this is the side you're gonna see first because that's what we put down first. So that may not be an issue. So if we flip this over, see, that's gonna be the top, or the front rather, right? So I'm thinking we need a dark outline, or darker, to make it stand out. Or do we need like maybe a gold? And then that would take care of the borders, but it won't block out our color shift paints. Let's try it out. And let's see what happens. So what did I say? Gold over the top to be different, right? Here we have our brayers ready to go, and we said we're going to do a gold. Now, get a little squirreling over here real quick. I have some of these little tubes of Amsterdam metallic acrylics, and I have here, there's some lemon, yellow, or gold, light gold. And originally I purchased this online, and I thought I purchased also this one, but I ended up making a boo-boo, and I bought 2 of these, but I'll use it. I'm not worried about that. So let me just use what I have here, and then if we need to add, we'll add something else. But, all right, what I'm gonna do is then I'm gonna add a little bit of the golden fluid acrylic interference gold fine, and that will give us a nice effect too. A couple of dots of that. Oh yeah, that's good. That's good. And then again, this will need to dry on the plate with the paper. And I'll pause the video, or we could even play on the larger plate. My larger plate is ready. I need to pull this up, and then we could play with the larger plate while this guy dries. What's a good place? What's a good place? Let's just go here, Eddie. Okay, gently. Gonna lift. And yeah, it's pulling up some of that paint. That's okay. That is okay. Now, I'm gonna take this and lay it down. I cut it to just like a 1/4 inch border all around. Let me do it this way. So I'm left with the 1/4 inch border all around. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. There's our Baron. Go over that gently because you don't want to smush it all around and then ruin your butterfly outline. Let's see. So that's what it's going to look like. That's kind of interesting. That should be really cool. All right, I'm just going to give it a little nice, another rub. And then we can play with the larger plate and let this dry. Set you to the side here. Now this plate already has some muck on it, but that's okay. I'm gonna take the rest of this gold mixture that I have on here and just lay it out on there. Just waste not, want not, right? This will need to be cleaned. I'm gonna set that to, let me see if I can rub some of this off on some tissue. Here's a napkin. Okay. All right, we got some. Look at that. That's cool. It's great for collage. Just a little, a starter base to do some more layers. Look at this. So this is my 8x10 Jelly Arts plate. And what do I have? I have some other stencils that I pulled out, not just the 2 that I showed you. I have some birds that Mariah sent me, which I think we should play with. Let's see. And these again are imperfectly perfect stencils, but they're just for me to play with. However, when you order them from pmartiststudio.com, your stencils will not have imperfections. They'll be spot on. They make sure of that. She's just sent me these to, have a play with them and show you guys different techniques using their stencils and masks. Well, that's a cool one to be. But let's do some buds. Now, I have this other piece of the black mixed media paper. So maybe what we'll do is we'll kind of work in the middle with this guy here. Is that my, yeah, okay. So we can do that. We have him. I have these other little birds. But I think maybe we'll just focus on this little guy today. And that's good. That should be big enough. Might lose a little bit of the tail. What if I put it at an angle? Yeah, that'd be better. Okay. But what I want to do is what's known as the long haul pole. I don't know if that's the technical term, but that's what we're calling it. So we'll do a few layers of this guy on here. And so I'm not going to cover the entire plate in paint. I'll just use, you know, the area that we want the color to hang out in. And have some carnival tissue here to do pickups and you know, to do prints on until we get the final layer, and then we'll cover that with paint and pick it up on the black paper. All right, so first of all, I'm going to start with some black on the base on the plate. Let me spin here. Where's my black? Where's my black? There it is. I'm using Mars Black from Liquitex. It's our basics acrylic line. Not too much because remember, we're just going to work in a smaller area. Now that gold's going to get picked up. Okay, which is cool. I like that. All right, clean that off. Now we're going to position this, remember, at an angle so it fits inside our mixed media paper. Don't try and talk and chew gum. Ooh. All right, that's better. Just want to push this down just ever so slightly to get a nice impression. And then we're going to take our tissue, smooth side down. And this is carnival tissue, which is a wet strength tissue paper that artists use, and it's also used to make lanterns. So this is great for gel printing because it can hold a lot. You can do multiple layers of paint. You can also use it as a pickup. So, meaning you can let it dry on the plate with the paint, and then it'll still come up. And what I do is take a little napkin here and just softly rub around and get into those little nooks and crannies to make sure you get all that paint up, and then gently just lift it up. And this is going to be awesome because don't forget, we have the gold on the bottom, which is the first color you're going to see. Then we did the black and then the bird. So this should be cool. Oh yeah. Look at that. That's pretty cool, I would say. Get a nice sheen to it. There's some texture from, oh, don't touch it, it eats wet. From when we brayered it out on the smaller plate. I love that. All right, we're gonna set you aside to dry, birdie. Right there. And what's the next color we want to use? We still have some black on here. That's okay. I'm just gonna put some paint on top and keep going. All right, and I don't know if you can see this. This is just an old book I'm using as a brayer off sheets. And I got the idea from my friend in Scotland, Kirsten, who's Quirky Queens here on YouTube. And she does a lot of wonderful gel printing. And she uses a book, an old book, to brayer off her brayer. And then she has a book full of wonderful brayer sheets, colorful paper to work with. So thank you, Kirsten, for that idea. So we're going to do, that was an opaque paint, the gold and the black, actually. So what we're going to do, let's try something that's a little more transparent. Maybe, what do I have here? No, red. Let's do some red. And booger out of there. This is Amsterdam red, transparent red mid, number 317. Now this sucker dries fast, but I want to add in something else. Where's my, here it is. This is a color shift purple. No, I don't want to use that one. That's not what I want to use. I want copper. Here we are, my copper. This is also Liquitex. And this is just called copper. It's mica opaque. Now the reason I'm using this with the transparent is it mixes well. I like the two colors together and it gives a cool effect. I don't know why I'm doing all this. It's just maybe for some, you know, action. All right, clean that off. Let's take this print, smooth side down. Remember, always, when you put your paper down, you want to smooth out from the inside out. And here's my, oh, here it is, okay. And I don't know if I said, but the reason I use the napkin, and this I learned from Patricia at PM Artist Studio during one of their live streams, is when you are pressing through the tissue to get the paint up, some of it seeps through. So if you can see here, there's some paint coming through. And that just avoids your hands getting all gunky. But it also keeps you from missing any paint, but also ripping the paper, which is, it's hard to do with this carnival tissue, but you know, my luck, that would happen. Oh. Now you see all the cool layers that are coming up now from that. And I'm surprised the black didn't come up. Just use a smaller piece of tissue that I have here that's not big enough for this, but maybe you can pick something up here. Anything. This is good. See, we're still picking some stuff up. So this might end up being a cool little piece of tissue. Look at that. Let's get a lot of that up. And it's still like, you're still getting gold and black, and it's just like, got some great cool, like little shiny spots there. That is wonderful. All right, let's keep going. Let's get another color. We did the opaque, or the transparent just then. What do we want to do next? Transparent red iron oxide. Now, I know this is in a jar, because I got this on clearance, and it was relatively inexpensive for a golden paint. But it's a wonderful paint to have in your collection. And I'm trying not to get it all over myself, because this is, you don't need much. And then, but this will make a cool print. Okay, that's probably too much, but what else? All right, let's close that so we don't dry it out. Give us a little brayering. Okay, get our tissue. I'm running out of tissue, but I have an order coming in soon. We can go to the regular cheapo tissue if we have to. I just like the carnival because you can leave it on a little longer without worrying that it's going to stick to your stencil or, you know, and rip, and then just ruin your whole piece. Clean the brayer, Ed. Clean the brayer. Look at that. Isn't that cool? That'd be some cool wallpaper, or when I worked for Z Gallery, they had at the entrance to the store, a stone fountain, and it was at least 6 feet tall. It was taller than me. And it was encased in a copper, and it had these beautiful stones and the water coming down. And the coloring there reminded me, because obviously the copper with the water coming down starts to patina. And it was super, super cool. I don't know if they still sell them. I know they sold them made to order, but I don't know if they still do. See how cool that color is? And it's still picking up gold and black. Now there's a little bit left on there, so I'm just going to take that. Where's that other one we just did? Smaller one. Oh, it falled. Fall to the floor. Let's see if we can get anything up on here. I'm going to try and line it up as best I can. And sometimes you can get a cool little, like almost like a 3D effect, because the print they kind of line up, but they don't. All right, let's get this up. I mean, seriously, we're still getting black and gold. But you see, kind of lined it up pretty good, and it filled in some of the spaces where it wasn't filled before. All right, let's continue. Let's do something opaque. Let's just do the gold. I've got it right here. Yep, this is it's a semi-opaque. It's a deep gold 803 from the Amsterdam Standard Series collection. Should we put anything else with this gold? Can we do? Do we do another metallic? Maybe green? No, I don't want to do green. Maybe so. Let's just do. We're playing here. I don't know if this is gonna work or if it's just gonna look blah, but try it. We'll throw a little. That was primary yellow Liquitex, and it's a semi-opaque, whatever. It's not truly transparent. Now that just flipped up, so that might give us a little of this underneath, because I was being a little too aggressive. But what you gonna do, huh? Just gonna go ahead and get the rest of this paint off on the gel plate. This can come off on here too. Don't waste that. A piece of tissue. All right, lay this down gently. Oh. Now this is going to be a full coverage because I covered the plate. But I still have some edges here. I'm just going to pick up with this print here. That little gold edge to that. Cool. Okay. Take that off. Let's go ahead and lift this up. Ooh, golden goodness. I like that mixture of the yellow with it. It gives it a nice, like an old wall look. This is very wet, so I'm just trying to not let it stick back down on the plate or on me. Okay, I'm gonna set this aside before I drop it and ruin it. Let me see. Put it on this little box here so you can see it better. Not great. Like just the different tones of gold and yellow mixed in with whatever was left on the plate gives it a really cool effect. Okay, you're gonna set there to dry, and I'm gonna come back. I'm just gonna use a piece of the regular. Oh, you know what? I have this. This is just I've got a little bit of everything on here. Tissue. So we can use this to pick up the rest of this gold and yellow. All right, it's still a little bit left, so I'm just gonna go ahead and try and pick that up. All right. See? Look, got a really good print of the bird there. That's great. Lots of layers on that one. Let's do, okay, we did the golds. I'm just gonna flip this over so we can see what we're working with here. All right, and then we want to pick it up on the black. I want to go with the blue. I'm going to pull out Prussian. 566 from Amsterdam, Prussian blue. This is a transparent paint. And use some of this. And I'm going to put in also some of the color shift paint in the blue. Give us a little extra oomph to the print. Okay. Let's just make sure I got this all wiped off well. Yeah, see, I'm going to make sure it's dry because I don't want the colors on the barren mixing with the colors there that I have, the blues I have on there. Okay. Yeah, make sure you get in those little spaces there. And that's where you want enough paint on here to get in there. If you don't have enough paint, you're not going to get a really good outline. And that's the goal we're going for, that's what we're trying to achieve, is a nice outline of the bird that we'll do a final pickup with on our black mixed media paper. Okay, let's get to work here already because this paint dries fast. Although it's not dry here today, so my paints are behaving quite well. When it's cold and I have to have my radiator on, man, it's like a desert in here. It's so dry and everything dries super fast. So I have to work extra fast or use retarder in the paints so that they don't dry so fast on me. All right, come on, Ed. Whoa, okay. See, this is what I'm talking about. See all that around the edges? The golds and yellow and some of the transparent red iron oxide in there. You even got some black. Okay. I'm gonna do another pickup on this guy. And then I think what we'll do is go ahead and take our stencil off. Oops, messed that one up, didn't I? We'll take the stencil off. We're gonna let the paint dry, the outline of the bird, and then we'll do a pickup onto the black. So, and while this dries, we'll check out our first print with the butterfly. We'll see how successful we were. Give it a little once more go over because I see some paint still in there. Alrighty, look at that. That's a beautiful pull for just like very little, you know, you think there's very little paint, but that's wonderful. We'll lift this guy gently. Look at that beautifulness there. That's what we're going to pick up with the black card. I'm going to set this to the side here. All right, let's see. So that's what it should look like, as long as it pulls off. Now, let's take a peek. Oh, I think it's going to work. Wow. Look how beautiful that is. I don't know if you can tell, but like as I move this around, I can see the purples, the paint's like shifting with the, you know, showing purples and aquas and the gold. It's so beautiful. I'll photograph these so you can get a better look at them and put them in the end of the video. And then this here has a little bit of a texture because remember we put the paint over the stencil, so it's got a little bit of a rise to it. But oh, I love that. I love that right there. Awesome. Okay. What should we do here while we wait for this other guy to dry? I have a couple more stencils here. What if we do, Oh, let's do Fun Face. I honestly can't tell you what collection this is from because I forgot to look it up before I started taping, but this is another imperfectly perfect stencil. I don't know what's wrong with it. It could be this here. See where it's cut there, but here it's not. So it could be that, but we're going to use it. It's going to be fun. And let's do that whole, we'll do some layers. What do we start with? Do we start with black? We don't have to start with black. Let's start with blue. I like this one blue. This is primary blue from Liquitex. It's a semi-transparent, semi-opaque. I would say it's semi-transparent. It's a nice paint. And then let's see, maybe a little bit of, do you want to do a little turquoise maybe? Do a little bit. I'll put a little bit on, because this turquoise is very strong, the Liquitex turquoise blue. It's opaque and it's very strong. But it's a beautiful color. All right, I like that. Nice mottled effect. Mottled. That's the word I'm trying to say. Okay, put them right down. Get down there. Okay. Now we need some tissue. I'm gonna go ahead. Oh, I got some more here. I thought I was out of a carnival. Now this larger sheet, what I do is I'll print on the top and flip it and then print on the bottom half. Okay, right there. Okay, get down. Here we are. There we go. Use your napkin. Give a gentle press. Get that paint up through the beautiful little cutouts, the details there. So you get a nice print on your tissue. All right, let's give this a lift here. Cool. That's a great base to start, something else with. All right, I have some paint left on my brayer, and I'm gonna go right over this. And then I want to let's add some more color. How about we do the, not the blue, no. Should do gold. A little gold. I don't know, I'm hooked on the gold today. All right, and then we'll do another pickup. Use the same sheet. And then just gently, yeah, the top there is gonna combine with the other one, but that's okay. And don't forget, if you have any specific questions or tips or, you know, just suggestions or ideas, definitely, you know, drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear some feedback from you. All right, we're going to take our time. So I don't want this to stick. Wow, isn't that cool? And it's got a lot more character because we've got different shades of the blue, and then we've got the gold in there outlining it. That's awesome. Okay, we gotta sit you there. All right, we have blue and gold so far on there. Okay. I don't know why I ripped that out. I was supposed to turn the page, but we'll save that anyway. Silly goose. All right, let's spin the wheel of paint. I have my paints on a Lazy Susan here, a little one, and well, most of my paints. They don't fit all fit on there, unfortunately. And I spin it around and see what color catches me eye. Do you want to do a purple? Let's do this purple. We just did transparent. Well, no, the gold is opaque. Let's go ahead and use this purple. This is the Prisma purple, or Prism purple from Liquitex, and put it next to the dioxazine. Now, their dioxazine purple is, in this, is opaque. However, in their Liquitex Basics, or their Liquitex Fluid, soft body acrylic, their dioxazine purple is transparent. Interesting. Okay. So, and from what I can gather, it's because this soft body acrylic, this dries fast, it's very loose. It has more of the element, the ingredient that makes it more transparent. That makes sense. Okay. So we're going to use the transparent one here in this. Let's put some here, put some there, maybe a little bit more, just to make sure we get into all the little fine details there. I love when the brayer does that after you brayer over a stencil and you get those, the design transfer. That's great. That's great for collage or for all sorts of stuff. And let's get our tissue here. Check that bird and see if it's dry. And gently pick that up. See that blue really stuck on there. I'm gonna get something to get that up. Okay, and then I'll go, oops, on my tissue. I'll go here and pick up the rest of this here. Isn't that cool? Get the great little, the mingling of the colors, the different layers. Okay, I'm gonna remember this. Let's see if we can pick up anything on here. Get some extra paint off. Oh yeah, we got some. Let's go down here. Okie dokie. I'm going to go one more time with just like a, here's my regular tissue here. This is just from the store, or the, you know, like a dollar store. But even so, with the regular tissue paper, use the smooth side down. You see, getting some of that paint, some more of the paint up. Gently. How much paint was left behind? That's great for something else. All right, now we're gonna pull this up. Let's let it dry, and then we have to think about what we want to pull it up with. Now, let's see. We'll go on the other side. Lay down. And just gently brayer over it and try to get that extra paint from the back. How great is that? Very cool. Okay. So our bird is nice and dry. And now we got to figure out what we want to pick it up with paint-wise. This bronze. We're going to try it. Why the heck not? Okay, get a nice layer so we get a nice pickup on here. And mainly I'm concentrating on the bird because there's really nothing else going on here, and if I don't get the edges completely on the black paper covered, that's okay. Okay, I'm gonna stand up because I gotta see this to make sure I get it all, the entire bird on the paper. It's gonna be at a slight angle, but that's okay. Okay, now some tissue here, and we want to pick up this excess on the outside. Gently pick that up. Okay, now here we go. That's going to be really interesting. Really interesting. Okay, let's start for a few. Let's see if this one's dry. Yeah, that's dry enough for a pickup. Turquoise. You know, I'm going to do this just in a lighter color. Maybe the parchment. Let's do the parchment. I think it'll stand up better. Yeah. Oh, just having some fun. This lid needs a good cleaning, Eddie. Like that. And then maybe some of the, where are we? Oh, here, right in front of me. The color shift, or the interference gold fine from Golden. Just gonna put a tiny bit there and a tiny bit there. I have paper here to pick it up with. Now I'm doing the brayering this way because it gives the paint kind of a textury look. But you want to make sure you cover what you want to pick up. Lay that down. Give it a nice rub-a-dub-dub. And sometimes we can pick this up quickly. But let's see, because it doesn't feel wet to me. Now, we're going to let this dry. I already see that it's not starting to pick up at the edges, which means the insides. The inner areas are not done. So we'll put this back in the oven. And let's see what's going on with our bird. How slowly I'm doing this. It's like, you probably thought I put it in slow-mo. Look at that. This is cool. I like it. I like it a lot. I mean, I could do more with this, dress it up a little more, but I don't know. I like that combination. It's a little dark, but we can work on that. A little extra paint here. Oh, love it. All right, so we have that one. What else did we do today? Let's review some things before, while that other piece is drying. Okay, so you see, these are some from the bird prints that we did in this long haul process. Got another one here. This was the transparent red iron oxide. This was a transparent red, I think with some gold or bronze. Maybe bronze. There's another bird one. That was a cool one. We did that one with the Prussian blue. And this one was with gold and yellow. I really like that one. That one just really blows me away, that the coloring of the mixing of the yellow and the gold, how it gives it a really cool old ball effect. And then don't forget, this was the first one we did before we pulled up the stencil. No, we left the stencil on. This was before there was paint on top. There was just paint underneath. Because we used the leftover gold from another print that we did, and I let that dry. I just added that to the plate and let that dry, and then put the stencil down, or the black, and then the stencil, and we got this cool effect there. Then we have our butterfly. This was the wipe off from the butterfly and the aqueous stencil. And we didn't do a lot of pulls on that one because it's more of a layering, you know, the two. But this is the final result. Pretty cool. All right, and then the next one's the mask. Yeah, started doing this cool mask. Couple of more here. This weird looking dude. Then what was left on the stencil, we rubbed off onto a sheet of paper. Little piece of that. At least not wanting that. And we may have to wait a second for this one. But let's give it a try. I think we're good. Well, I'll put you down just a little bit more. Make sure we don't tear anything. Now, really, I should have left this on longer, but I wanted you to see it. It looks pretty good. Again, the technique that we used with all the layering, it gives the background a cool effect, like the wall, like an old wall, or, you know, a textured stone wall. Love that. All right, so I think we had a very successful printing session. We got a lot done, a lot of cool prints, and I hope you learned something. And remember that these stencils that I'm using, that I use today, are imperfectly perfect stencils from PM Artist Studio. But when you go to their website and you order, you're going to get perfect stencils. And they also have foam stamps and some other goodies. So definitely check them out, pmartstudio.com. And thank you guys for joining me today. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and leave me a comment. That way I can make more videos for you guys. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon.